guys, welcome to today's immigration lesson. We are on lesson 4. Let me go ahead and share our vocab words with you first. Okay, our first vocab word is afford, and that means to have enough of something, especially money or time, available to buy or do something. So if you have enough money, it means you can afford to buy something. If you have enough time, that means you can afford to do that one activity. But if you don't have enough money, that means you can't afford to buy something. And if you don't have enough time, that means you can't afford the time that it would take to do an activity that you wanted to do. We're going to learn about today, a word is called blight. It is a sudden and quick death of plants or crops because of disease. So if you look over here at these pictures, you may have seen plants or crops look like this before. It means that it kind of has like a disease on it and the plant is dying. And then we have the word emigrated, and it means you left a country or region to settle in another one. We've learned about immigrated, where people come to a new country, and that starts with the letter I, but now we're going to learn about emigrated with the letter E, means where you leave one country. So we're going to read today about a family that emigrated or left a country and the reasons why they left that country. So let me go ahead and now share with you guys the story. Okay, so first I want to talk to you real quick that one push factor or one reason why someone might leave their country, we talked about maybe there wasn't enough food. So one push factor that occurred in Ireland in 1845 was that year the potato crop in Ireland, the main food crop there, suddenly died. When this happened, many people in Ireland had very little to eat, so many people decided to immigrate to the United States for a better life and job opportunities. So they are going to United States, they're going to immigrate, which means immigrate with the letter I. They left Ireland, that means emigrate with the letter E. All right. So we're going to learn about a family from Ireland that emigrated from Ireland and immigrated to the United States. All right. For once, Sean and Thea Murphy were grateful for the crowds of people on their street in New York City. It was a freezing cold day in 1858, and all those bodies helped block the powerful wind blowing in from the Hudson River. Fiona told Sean, "Let's go into Uncle Brennan's," and a minute later they entered their uncle's little restaurant named Murphy's, after their family. The cold followed them in, so they quickly shut the door behind themselves. A familiar voice called out, "Well now, look who the cat dragged in." It was Uncle Brendan. "It wasn't a cat," Sean laughed. "It was Fiona. I'm hungry, Uncle Brendan." "You're a 15-year-old boy," his uncle answered. "You're always hungry. Sit down and I'll get you each a plate. But Sean, don't you eat so much that you leave nothing left for my paying customers." Just then, Aunt Kathleen came out from the kitchen and walked over. Quietly, she asked, "How's your ma?" Fiona grew serious. "Not so good, Auntie. She says she should be used to this cold after living in a drafty one-room shack back in Ireland, but this New York winter is doing something to her. And you know Pa, he never says he's worried, but when he was home last month, I could see it in his eyes. I've been wishing we could be home more." Kathleen replied, "He's lucky to have a job." Or, "I've been wishing he could be home more." And Kathleen replied, "He's lucky to have a job. Working to lay railroad tracks out west may take him away often, but his pay is putting food in your mouth and paying for whatever heat he can get in our home." Fiona's family, including her aunt and uncle, had been sharing a tiny apartment ever since they had emigrated from Ireland to settle in the United States. Uncle Brendan's restaurant, Murphy's, was doing well now, but he and his brother, Peter, Sean and Fiona's father, were still paying back the money they owed for buying the restaurant. Any money they earned helped the whole family. By now, plates of food had appeared in front of Sean and Fiona. Sean breathed in the familiar smells of the food from his home country, Ireland. Ah, bacon joint and potatoes, he told Aunt Kathleen. It reminds me of Ireland every time I smell your cooking. It should, she answered, since I cooked the same foods for you there, only we have more to eat here. There was never enough food to eat after the potato blight ruined our main food source in Ireland. Even your pa, the strongest man I know, was getting weak from hunger. It's a blessing to come to a country where there's food to eat. The land of opportunity indeed. Back in Dublin, Ireland, we worked just as hard and had a lot less. Aye, said Uncle Brendan. We would never have been able to own a restaurant back in Ireland, and even if we could have, no one had enough money to be a paying customer. We had so many hardships back home. We complained when all we had to eat in Ireland was potatoes, but we suffered tremendously when the potatoes were no longer there. Our family had to put a lot of money to immigrate to America, and even with all the difficulty we are going through, it has all been worth it. We have a good place to live in a neighborhood of Irish folks like us. Sure, some people have been hostile towards us, but there's more food on our table than we ever had back home in Ireland, and crowded as it may be, I prefer New York City to farming the rocky Irish soil. Still, I do miss a lot of the folks we left behind when we emigrated from Ireland. As he was saying this, the door opened and a voice shouted out, Well, I'm glad to hear that, Brendan, for we've no plans to go back. Uncle Brendan's face burst into a huge grin. Michael Colony, he exclaimed. Turning, he saw his old neighbors from Ireland walk through the door. They were new immigrants to the United States now. After a happy reunion, Brendan said, Sit down all and we'll bring you a good warm meal. Later, after the Connolly family was full of Kathleen's hearty food, Brendan asked Michael, Have you a place to stay? And what are you doing about work? We are staying with my brother for now, his old neighbor replied. As for work, he shrugged. I'd hire you myself, Brendan said, but I can't afford to pay you. But there's a fellow here from the old country who needs wagon drivers to deliver ice in the summer and coal for fires in the winter. No man alive knows more about horses than you do, Michael. I think I'll take you to meet him. It's hard work, but what isn't? At least you'll be near your new home, not like my brother Peter out west laying railroad track with a pick and a shovel. At this time, his niece Fiona said, But not for long, Uncle. That's what I was starting to tell you. We got a letter. Pa said his boss thinks so highly of his work that he's bringing him back to New York City to work in an office. Her brother Sean added, Pa will be home at the end of the month. He says that it's a lucky thing he can read and write, or he would not have been given this new job opportunity. He says it will pay better than building the railroad out west. What's even better is that now he will be close to home to care for Ma. You should have seen her face when I read her the letter. I think maybe she'll get better now with Pa around. Uncle Brendan nodded. Aye, Sean, when your pa is around, your mother perks up like a flower that just got watered. And see how important it is that you and Fiona learn to read and write so well at an early age. One day you'll have better job opportunities than any of us. Sean smiled. Fiona and I are very lucky now to live here in the land of opportunity, but we will never forget where we came from and what sacrifices our family had to make to get here. Well, said Uncle Brendan, it seems we all had a great deal to be grateful for here in America. Kathleen and I are lucky enough to own a restaurant. The Connollys are newcomers here. My brother will be with us soon and working in a better job, and I believe your mom will get better, children. All in all, I'd say that as hard as the changes sometimes are, coming to America was a good idea. All right, guys, I got a couple questions for you. So pause the video, answer the questions, okay? Where did the characters in today's read aloud emigrate from? That means where did they come from? Ireland. And where did they immigrate to? I mean, what country did they go to? The United States. They came to America. Okay, next question. What important push, like push them away, push factors caused Sean and Fiona, their family, and many other Irish families to leave Ireland? So what pushed a lot of families away from Ireland? The potato blight. Yes, they did not have enough food or enough money in Ireland. So what pull factors, what brought them to America? The hope for a better life, better job opportunities, more food, things like that. How was Uncle Brennan going to help Michael Connolly, his old neighbor, who was a newcomer to America? So what did Uncle Brennan say he was going to do to help Michael Connolly, his old neighbor in America? He was going to help Michael get a job by introducing him to a fellow immigrant who needed workers and wagon drivers. All right, why did Aunt Kathleen call the United States a land of opportunity? There was more food in the United States than in Ireland. There were more job opportunities. Fiona and Sean will have better opportunities in their future. All right, guys, that's all I've got today for our immigration lesson. I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Have a great day.